All right, my friends, welcome to episode 59 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is the Dev. I screwed that up, but I'm going to keep rolling on. I am the Professor Larry, and over there is the Dev.
Anthony.
Holy shit, what a week. How you doing?
I'm okay. I survived the week. That's good.
Yeah, we, as straight white men, I think we're probably going to be fine.
Straight white men on the coast? Yes.
Yeah. There was a Seth
My
Meyers.
state? Washington?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Not so much going to happen to me.
Seth Meyers had a monologue where he was like, and, you know, in some good news, California legalized weed. Not a second too soon.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're still reeling from the election. We'll talk about that in the off-topic banter. But this week we've got quite a bit of news. Just such a busy news week. So much great, crazy stuff. Not really. We have a Mass Effect news, a little bit of Nintendo being Nintendo news, an Xbox update, and then we will get into what we're playing and have a little bit of a discussion. But we're going to start with something that I've seen a lot in my Twitter feed, and maybe you have as well, and listening to podcasts and such post-election. People talking about games as escapism. Basically, when things are going wrong in your life, or you've suffered through an election that didn't go your way, at least we have video games where we can kind of just put our heads in the sand and yeah, basically put our heads in the sand. And I have some thoughts about that, but I kind of want to gauge your idea first.
Is it any different than burying yourself in a book?
No.
And escaping into a book?
Nope.
I mean, video games offer a different type of escapism. Like me, playing a lot of Skyrim, I can escape into that world. I can just do what I want. Books, you have to follow the linear narrative. But it's still a way to occupy your mind with something else and move past certain things.
Right.
I think, generally, with everything, there's a balance to it. You can over-escape. And you see that many times. I've seen that in a lot of people where they have a lot of problems and they just turn to their crutch, and that could easily be video games, and bury themselves in it to ignore the problems or things they don't want to think about.
It's the thing that I said as soon as I found out that weed was legalized in California. Like, right now, I can own weed, I can grow 6 plants in my house, and I was like, I'm not going to touch weed, because if I start smoking now, I ain't stopping. Like, I am not stopping, and I can't do that. I agree with you that escapism for video games or books or movies or anything, it's the same idea. My problem with that answer is that this is not the time for us to escape completely. Like, obviously, like, we need to find joy and self-care, and those of us who are, like, distraught about this election need to, like, you know, save our mental state a little bit, and the games help. I played games this week along with the other things that I've done, but this country cannot afford for all of us to bury our heads in the sand for 4 years. There are things that are going to happen that are going to need people to step up and do something. You know, you don't need to, like, lead a protest or, you know, scale the walls of the White House, but in every movement there are 4 types of people. There's someone who advocates for something, someone who organizes, someone who helps the movement, or someone who rebels. And everyone takes a role, and none of those are escaping for, you know, 4 years. And the idea that we have the luxury to escape, like we said, as a straight white dude on the coast, we have the luxury to escape, and, you know, not a lot of bad stuff's going to happen to us, but for those of us who have empathy for other people in the country, you know, it's going to take some vigilance on our part. So.
Oh, I agree. There's definitely taking care of yourself mentally, sure.
Absolutely.
Taking breaks and but my own take, I haven't stopped reading news. I haven't stopped paying attention to things. Right. There just comes a point where I'm like, I need a break from this. Like, I just need something else because I'm either getting too worked up about it, too sad, cynical, all these negative things that don't help.
That's right.
So usually at that time, not everyone is as good or self-aware like that. I understand, but I try to be, and I try hopefully to instill that in other people too. When I see them, just like, hey, enjoy the game, like, take what you need, but don't check out.
Right.
Don't Although I still feel like there's a large portion of people that are already checked out to begin with, so it doesn't really matter in some ways.
If we're talking strictly about the election, we saw that 44% of registered voters did not vote. So yeah, people are checked out.
It's what, the lowest percentage in the last 3 elections?
Yes. Although, I mean, you will talk about the election more specifically later, but yes, you're right. It is pretty low.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking how few people.
For such an important election, yeah. Unfortunately.
They kind of feel like they're always important, but it's definitely where you see a lot of. I mean, my Twitter feed and Facebook feed, all my social feeds are just full of election stuff for the past, I don't know,
couple months, at least the last month.
Year. I mean, from the primaries on, like
right.
you can't escape this stuff.
That's true.
And so I'm just wondering, like, how. Part of me has actually wondered if that just creates a certain election fatigue.
Oh, it's definitely
and people where they're just like, I'm done with this. I don't care. Because I can see myself where I start caring more, but I know people that would actively be like, screw all of this.
Yep.
I'm done. I'm not going to vote. I don't want to deal with this.
Right. And we did see that.
I can see someone have that reaction where they're just so tired of this constant bombardment of information about it.
Right, and that makes sense, and I'm glad that those people can step away. I mean, I wish everyone would vote, and I'm not happy that Trump won, but I'm pissed off at people who didn't actually vote.
Yeah.
Like, you need to vote. But for people who can recognize, like, I need to step away, but be ready to step back in when you're needed.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not saying that. It was mostly like, I'm just wondering if it's a new reason that started driving people to not vote, was they are just shutting down long before the election because this stuff lasts so long now.
Yeah, it lasts way too long, and to be honest, like, both of these candidates were just loathed. Like, the most disliked candidates in history. Unfortunately, the one who was the most disliked won, but for some people that's not unfortunate, so.
Yeah. But back to games as escape, I mean, it offers, like, I would say games are particularly good at offering you the ability to truly escape into another world.
Because you get a role play. You get to, jump into another character that you can't do through any other medium, really.
Yeah. Think about playing Uncharted 4 and stuff.
Oh, my God.
It's fantastic. Just jump into that, and you're like, I'm Nathan Drake at the moment, and get caught up in that story. And the bigger picture doesn't really matter at that point anymore. You can just step back. I mean, games are very, very powerful as an escape mechanism. I mean, there's why there are people that do get addicted to games. Like, that's an actual thing. And it, just like people can get addicted to gambling, I mean, it makes sense. Like, it's that feedback loop of getting all your endorphins kicked in and being happy.
Right.
So it's not shocking to me that people would turn to video games for escapism, and maybe a little bit too much.
Well, and it's something that my wife and I have experienced this weekend, where yesterday we went and played a really, really good game of tennis, and today we played a really good softball game, which, by the way, bases loaded, I came with the bat, and I hit a double and knocked everyone in. That felt really good.
Nice.
But after we were done, we were both looked at each other and said, I haven't thought about the election or the aftermath for the last hour and a half, and it felt amazing. Like, that feeling, I wanted it again, and I'm like, I can't turn away completely, because, like, if I kept doing this, I would not come back, because I feel so bad right now, and it felt really good to not feel bad.
Yeah, that was the Wednesday night. I had my second game of the Star Wars role-playing game.
Oh, yeah.
And I did play that. I mean, we started, and we played about 8:30, and we played until, like, 11. But I remember finishing that and going, like, I really needed that.
Yep, absolutely.
Because it was 2.5 hours where we're just role-playing and just laughing. Mm-hmm. Me, wife, 3 of our really good friends, and we're just sitting there, and we're just all online. We have all of our little videos up so we can all see each other, but we're just laughing and having a blast, not even thinking about the current state of affairs. And this is Wednesday, the day after. And
right.
Holy crap, was that needed. It was a good shock to the system to be like, I needed to be around people and friends and just laugh a bit.
That's right. I totally understand, totally agree. It took me a couple more days than you. I was pretty deep down. I didn't.
I didn't have a choice. I had to run the game.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well,
It
which
was
is
scheduled.
good.
It was like, this is happening. May not feel like doing this, and earlier in the day I was like, man, I don't know if I'm up to doing this. But once we got started, it was pretty easy to just, once comedy starts, once your friends start doing things, you're like, okay, this is actually really good. This is useful.
And thank God for games, because it allows us to do that. And I feel bad for people who either are isolated and feeling the way that we were feeling, where they couldn't come together with friends around games or anything else really, or people who don't have those kind of fun hobbies in their life, because they really do add a lot. And I think that it's, I think that as long as we stay engaged, I think it's okay to escape every once in a while and, drift away and come back, because you have to take care of yourself, because you're gonna be needed in the future at some point. So,
do you find I tend to escape in the evenings. Like I take stuff in during the day,
right?
Be it at work or at my lunch. I'm like just taking in information, and by the time my kids are in bed and I'm sitting down, like basically the last few hours of the night is like, yep, I'm not thinking about this stuff now, and just escape. Basically, because I'm mentally done by that point.
Let's Okay, so the first couple of days I didn't look at any news. I just couldn't do it. And then I was playing a game, and I paused it for some reason and picked up my phone and started reading news again. And like an hour later, I was like, oh my god, I was playing a game. So, and that's happened the last couple of nights where I played a game and then paused it for some reason and then looked at my phone for an hour and it's like, oh my god, I need to stop doing this. So I'm trying to figure out, what I can do. I've taken some of my gaming budget and put it to better use, perhaps. Like I have a budget per month now, because I'm trying to save some money. And I've taken part of that budget to, I have a monthly donation to the ACLU now, and I subscribe to the New York Times, because we need some open and fair journalism. And that feels good. And there are things that everyone can do. You don't have to do huge things. There are small things you can do, and then you feel better about escaping for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you've done something. So there's just more to do and more games to play. Ugh, so many games to play. Speaking of games to play, if you like games, here's a code for you. JN. That's totally wrong. J9NA4 0R0WR 3ZZ49. That is a Steam code for Styx Master of Shadows. So if you need that game, check it out. And
someone totally took our Stardew Valley code.
Did they?
Yeah. Someone responded that we're going to try taking it on Twitter to me.
Nice.
And then so I waited a couple days and I was like, let's see if this is activated. Totally was activated.
Excellent. Good. I'm glad someone got it.
So someone got it.
Thank you. I mean, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that, people are getting use out of those codes, because there's several that, the humble bundles, I can just get a couple that I already have. So
yeah,
pass them out. Games at Escapism. Anything else to say on that topic?
No, but I think our first piece of news is all about escapism.
Yeah, and this is Mass Effect. I'm going to play it in the background for our friends. But Anthony, how'd you react to this?
Give me the game now, please. I'm ready to. It's Frostbite 3, so that's the engine that powers Battlefield 1, Battlefront, all those games. It's gorgeous.
Oh god,
holy crap, is the game gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. It's definitely doesn't feel like it's. To me, it doesn't seem like it's going to be rehashing stuff that's done in the original Mass Effect.
Uh-huh.
Like they have the line in there about like, we're the aliens here.
Right.
So I definitely feel like they're going to be dealing with it. It's its own thing. Andromeda finally, I'm like, good. This is going to be familiar in the right ways and totally looks new in other ways. And the scale looks insane.
Well, I heard that they're bringing back loyalty missions. I heard, what was the other thing I heard? Oh, that it's not necessarily part of a trilogy. That it might be just a standalone.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I'm okay with that. If tell the story that they want to tell.
Right.
If that story is a trilogy, tell it as a trilogy. If it's just a single game that tells the story, awesome. Just
be good.
Yeah, basically, I'm like, just tell me a good story in the time you've allotted.
Right.
Don't pad it. Just give me a story. And I mean, if it's not a trilogy, if this does well, which it probably will, that's probably means that they'll just be doing other Mass Effect games, just one-off stories here and there.
So at the end
which
here,
is great for the universe. Like, it just expands the Mass Effect universe into new places.
Right. Well, at the end here it says captured in engine representative of game experience. On PC, do you think this isn't a console? What we saw here?
Oh, it's PC.
Okay.
I'm almost certain that was captured on a. I mean, yes, they captured that through a PC. Now, what set it? I assume those are PC, high-end PC settings. So
yeah, it looks like it for sure.
Who knows if those are equivalent to like what PS4 Pro would do, though?
Right.
Potentially.
Do you think that our save file from Mass Effect 3 is going to do anything? Are they going to?
No.
They're not going to do anything. Okay.
Unless there's an Easter egg. They're like, if you have it, but I don't think it will. This is such a removed story that who knows? Maybe they'll reference. Like, I can only see them maybe importing it if they want. No, I wouldn't do 3. Is the thing, because this is set long before 3, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know in the timeline.
I can't imagine this is set after 3.
Okay. Well, I haven't got to the end, so I don't know what you know.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like,
okay.
This would probably have to take place somewhere around 1 or 2, maybe.
Oh, okay.
And then who knows how long it's taken them to travel to the Andromeda system. Yeah. So, I mean, theoretically, it could be happening after 3. It's just the mission was kicked off long before. I don't know. I'm excited.
For some people, the scariest part of this trailer was the end part where it says available spring 2017, but there's no date. Does that bother you? Does that scare you?
Not completely. The thing that actually does scare me is an investor call the previous week, which I totally didn't pick up on. The head of EA, the CEO, was basically said he would not rule out delaying it.
To make it better?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like, nope. I would not rule out at least one more delay if necessary.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, we might get it in the spring, hopefully.
Right.
But there's a chance we won't. So.
Well, if we don't, we have
I want
0.
A good game.
What's that?
I want a good game. I don't care.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever it comes out, and if it doesn't come out in the spring, we will hopefully have Horizon Zero Dawn, which looks fantastic. So we'll have something to play. We always have something to play, anyways. So,
it's true.
Yeah. Cool. So Mass Effect. The next piece of news is about the Xbox. Apparently, the Xbox has a new holiday update rolling out now, or it came out already. Which I haven't turned on. I think I have my Xbox on, actually. Anyway.
I put this on especially for you, because I'm like, I don't have one.
Right.
Is this interesting? Have you got it? Is this interesting?
Well, the thing that I think is interesting that people during the beta really, really liked was the looking for group. So if I'm playing Destiny, I don't have it on my Xbox, but if I did, I'm looking for a group to do Crota's End or whatever raid it is. Then other people who have tagged that too, you can group up across Xbox Live.
Out of the game?
Yeah. So I think that's a really cool tool, because that's something that, take Destiny for example. Destiny itself doesn't have, which would have been great. So to have a social setting where you're saying, I'm looking for the group to do this thing, and then you can find people and do it. People really, really like that.
Oh, I can totally see that. Group finding is awesome, and it's actually really cool that Xbox and Microsoft are just like, fine, we won't. Games don't need to do this on a per game basis. We will take control of this and surface this to players.
Yeah, exactly. And it's Xbox. We didn't put this on the news tracker, but Xbox has won NPD for the last 3 or 4 months now straight.
Yeah.
And it's either because people have had a PS4 and they kind of like want to see what the Xbox is like, or the Xbox One S got people excited, or I don't know what. But other updates here. There's group chat. Emojis, but the thing that's interesting that's not in it is there's a tournament building piece of this called Arena, where you can make tournaments for Rocket League or something.
Just any game. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you can just make your own tournaments.
Exactly. Which
even between your friends, you could just be like, we're gonna have a friend tournament.
That's the idea. So this is something that Nintendo kind of rolled out with Smash Brothers Wii U, which was a tournament mode, which was really exciting. Get our friends together, make a tournament, and it was totally botched. It was not cool at all.
Oh, poor Nintendo.
Jesus, they fuck everything up.
When it comes to online stuff, yes.
Oh, Christ. But the other Xbox news this week, which is fantastic, Mass Effect 2 and 3 came to back compat. And,
Yes, they did.
And EA Access. So I downloaded both of those to go along with my Xbox save file for Mass Effect 1. So maybe I could do a full playthrough of like the real deal, how I played from the beginning, you know? But, you know, eventually.
Yeah, you just got to finish Mass Effect 3.
I know, I'm going to play some more Mass Effect 3. Okay, fuck, I didn't mention it earlier.
I remember that. That was probably a very poor escapism on your part.
Oh, yeah. So I should have mentioned this during the escapism. I wrote it down, but I forgot to bring it up. I'm a total idiot. I was distraught the night of the election, and I decided to play a video game to escape from what was happening. I loaded up Mass Effect 3, this, you know, meticulously curated save, and I fucking killed Tali. I killed Legion, and I probably could have saved them, and I just effed that up.
Oh, you totally saved them. I knew it was possible to kill both of them. I just hadn't a clue how you actually did it.
So
I definitely saved both of them.
Yeah, so what I did was upload the virus to the Geth, or upload the whatever to the Geth, and Tali freaks out. So I saw her freaking out, like jumping toward the cliff. I was like, oh my god, she's going to die. I put my hands on my head, like, what the fuck did I do? And then the freaking Paragon option comes up where you click the mouse. And I tried to grab my mouse in time, and I couldn't grab it in time, and then she died. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. Fuck.
Never take your hand off that mouse.
What a moron. What a world-class moron. And then they're like, oh, we couldn't save Legion when we did this. He's dead too. Like, fuck me. That was terrible. So yeah, now I've killed both those guys. And I've only killed one person. Whatever. Anyway, so that's the Xbox.
I assume you weren't romancing Tali.
No. I apparently am romancing the lady who's next to the email, whatever her name is.
Oh, right, the
ensign or whatever.
The ensign, the yeoman.
Yeah, that's it.
Who was it in 2? Kelly Chambers was 2?
Yeah, Kelly Chambers was 2. Yeah, right, that's right.
Who's 3? God,
Tracer? No, that's not
I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah, so I am getting it on with her. And I don't know if I try it with someone else if I'll lose her or if she's just kind of like a side thing. I don't know.
Not in 3. I'm pretty sure in 3 it's a full-on relationship.
Right.
2 was a total side thing.
Okay.
Like you wouldn't even get the like romance achievement if you progress the romance along with the yeoman.
Got it.
But in 3, I think they rectified that and were like, no, you can actually just make this full choice and do that.
Yep, so that's what I did. And killed him.
Probably the wrong type of escapism there.
Real wrong, because, wow, that's a long save that I messed up. But whatever, that's fine.
Rocket League would have probably been a better choice.
I should have. I don't know what I was thinking. So, not knowing what they're thinking, Nintendo has this NES Classic with the controller cords that are too short, but anyway, that people want to buy. Anthony, can you buy this thing?
No. I thought about trying it on Amazon. What was it?
It was 2 p.m.
Friday.
Yeah.
I completely missed it. And I was like, man, I would just buy one of these to resell it because the resale prices are insane.
You could buy a Nintendo with all the games for cheaper than that. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But
I was saying the consistent. Right away they were going up for like 500 plus, but they seem to have settled around 200, 250.
Yeah, I saw 200, yeah.
And I'm just like, well, shit, $60, and I could, whatever. I'll just get it later because Nintendo they've updated and said that they're just gonna be they're releasing them as fast as they make them.
Right.
So, I don't think people have to necessarily worry about getting one, but
right.
I kind of feel it was done as a marketing move.
I agree with you, and that's shitty because the people who got it are the scalpers who were gonna sell it. Which, I mean, to be perfectly just like you said, if I would have got one, I would have flipped it. Absolutely would have flipped it. So.
It can't justify. I can hold off and wait.
Me too. Especially since we have a number of these games either on our original Nintendo or through like a virtual console.
Yeah. But it's still kind of crazy how much people want this, even with its little tiny cord.
Yeah. I mean, there are fixes for that. You could extend the cord and whatever, but
There shouldn't be a fix.
I understand that completely. Especially since the original Nintendo cord was 7.5 feet, and these ones are like 2.5 feet.
I know. I'm like, that's another reason actually why I'm like, I don't think I need this right now because, man, I can't sit at my couch and play this thing. I have to like sit on the floor by my TV.
Honestly, I would hook this thing up to my computer, so where I'm sitting right now, and 2.5 feet is plenty.
Yeah, I actually want one so my kids can play. Because I actually think this would be a fantastic introduction to my son, who is 6.
Absolutely.
And who has a hard time with a PlayStation controller because it's kind of enormous for his hands and tons of buttons.
And so many buttons. Yeah, this is just 2 plus move.
I've always felt like, I'm like, you know what? Our generation, were nicely transitioned into this. Like,
right.
The consoles grew as we grew.
That's right.
And now I'm just like, man, any kid, here you go. Enjoy that Xbox controller or PlayStation controller.
Totally. Oh,
figure it out.
And try out this Pro controller. Oh, and also try out this Wii U tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think they're going to do an SNES whenever it comes time for whatever anniversary they're shooting for?
If there's not a freaking Super Nintendo Classic system for next Christmas, I will donate money to your favorite charity.
Okay.
They've got to. Like that's what I want, the Super Nintendo version of this.
Yeah. Kotaku had a neat article that there are 30 games that they want on there.
Right.
I agreed with most of them.
Yeah.
There were some that I didn't, but they hit it pretty hard, pretty good.
For what I see on there, Super Mario World, Link to the Past, Earthbound, Ken Griffey Jr., hell fucking yeah. Someone knows what's up. Super Metroid, Donkey Kong Country, like almost all these I agree with. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there's just games that I absolutely loved as a kid. I still love now, actually. Yeah. Let's be honest.
No, these are classics. These are games that I still go back and play.
I think like there was some on here that I was like, I wouldn't put Mario Paint.
No, I just saw that. No, fuck no. Mario Paint.
I had Mario Paint. I enjoyed it, but I'm just like, it's. I don't feel like it's a classic. It's more like an oddity.
Right.
Like it's cute and weird, but not something I'd put on a thing like this.
I see Illusion of Gaia, absolutely, and NHL PA Hockey '93. Hell yeah, I played that. Yep. I played the shit out of that game. Tiny Toon Adventures, Buster Bust Loose, yes, and WWF Royal Rumble, yes. I played those games so much. This is ridiculous. Oh my god, I want these games.
It's a good list. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
And the thing is, I should actually I have my Super Nintendo sitting in my garage.
Nice.
I should see it. I just need to get power cords and cables and see if I can get it to hook up, because I'm pretty sure I still have. I have Link to the Past and Super Mario World.
Is there a fix? Sorry, go ahead.
I might have Earthbound, and I know I have Super Metroid out there.
Is there a fix where those RGB cords or whatever can go into HDMI?
There's a whole box that you have to get.
Yeah. Okay.
Although the Super Nintendo did have cables for
composite,
I believe. So like, there's ways to do it. Like basically, but if you actually want to make these things look good, you have to spend some money.
Right.
That's where this little Nintendo thing is so great.
That's right.
It's the fact that it's $60 instead of a couple $100 in converting equipment to get it to look nice on a modern TV.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get one before Christmas, if not January.
Yeah, I'm holding out my money for the Switch, but I think eventually I'll get one of those things because they look awesome.
Yeah.
Other Nintendo news, Nintendo finally said that we're done with the Wii U. We're done with that, and we're gonna stop shipping to the U.S.
You know that thing that we said was not true? It was true.
It's totally true.
It just wasn't the actual day we said that people rumored.
Right.
It's now.
Why even? I mean, why even? Who cares? It's done. And I swear to God, if you can find a cheap, I would say if you can find a cheap Wii U, the library is awesome. However, if all those get ported to the Switch, then don't worry about it. Just get it on the Switch.
Yeah. I'll be very curious. I mean, if they're stopping production, I actually wonder if demand for it, supply really will dry up pretty quickly.
Which means the price would go up instead of down.
Exactly.
Yeah. Man, it was a good system. Just dumb, too. Just so dumb. Oh, well. There's no
Yeah,
software,
totally.
you know?
They misread
Oh,
what they were
they did.
doing.
Yep.
They misread their audience. They misread a ton of stuff with it.
That's right. And they didn't put out games for it. I mean,
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest. So there's still great games on it, but they could have done a lot better job. So
That's true. And a thing with really great games, the 3DS. So I would say anybody that doesn't have a 3DS, they should get it on Black Friday when it's $100.
holy hell, new 3DS, $100. Oh my god, I
Pretty much everywhere. I think it is everywhere. It's just like there's no one's confirmed if it's just that day or if it's actually just a price drop.
Oh, that's a good idea.
But either way, I mean, it's not an XL, so if you want bigger, although my wife has a regular 3DS, and it's fine.
Yeah.
The smaller screen actually sometimes looks crisper.
Yeah, because the pixels aren't stretched, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So either way, but $100, and it's a really good library of games on the 3DS. So
well, okay. So maybe of any console ever, the 3DS has the best library because you can play all the DS games too.
that's true.
Like it just the library is crazy.
Yeah. And the new 3DS can do the Super Nintendo Virtual Console.
That's true.
So you could play your Super Metroids and your Super Mario World. Did they do? No, Earthbound's only on the Wii U, right?
That's right. I don't think it's on the 3DS yet, which is just dumb.
Yeah,
Put it on everything. Exactly.
They'll probably
Yeah.
put it on there.
How long is?
They were trying to sell the Wii U, so let's
exactly
be honest.
Right. That's right. But how long are they gonna hang on to the 3DS if the Switch kind of does this stuff on the go? I wonder how quickly they'll kill it.
How old is the 3DS now?
Oh my God, 2012, 2011? Is that
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's been around for a while, so that just makes me wonder if it's just naturally coming up on its. So 2011.
Yeah. Okay. So that's 5 years. I mean,
5 years. So I bet it has at least another 2 to 3 years in it before they really sunset it. But
it's a great system, and this is a god dang great price. The only thing, folks, this doesn't come with a power cord, but buy one.
at that price, pick up a power cord.
Yeah, it's
okay.
like $7, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It makes transferring a pain in the ass because you have to like make sure they're both powered up. So that's kind of dumb, but whatever. I would always
got to be something.
I would almost sell my 3DS XL to put that money toward this. I don't know if I would.
I should actually, and so listeners, I mean, they're cool designs. They're all Super Mario themed.
Yeah, right.
Are they not etched per se, but it kind of has that depth feeling to it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, they're definitely. It kind of makes sense to me as well because Pokemon comes out next Friday.
Oh wow, that quickly. Okay.
18th, I think that's Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, Pokemon's coming out. These are $100 the following Friday.
Right.
And the 2DS, or is it just 2D? Whatever they call it, the 2D one. It's
Yep. The single
$80 or something like that.
$80. Yep. It doesn't. Well, the price has been $80 since May on that one.
Okay.
So it's just a single body. There's no clamshell and there's no 3D.
Yeah. Just get this. Do it.
Yep. Absolutely. Pull the trigger. If for some weird reason you don't have a 3DS, this is the one to buy.
This is going to be a lot of Pokemon players are going to get this. Oh my god.
Speaking of playing and players and such, we've been playing games this week, man. Not just crying about the election, but we've been doing some stuff too.
It's true.
I'm going to start with mine.
Okay.
After Uncharted 4, I was trying to find a new game to fall in love with. God, Uncharted 4 was so good. So I decided I'm going to turn on my Xbox because I've been playing the crap out of my PS4, and I'll try Dishonored. Oh, I wrote Dishonored 2 on the tracker here, but it's Dishonored.
Okay.
You play Dishonored?
I have.
I put about 2 hours into it, and I don't know if I like Bethesda games.
This isn't really Bethesda though. Like,
it's kind of feels like it.
Bethesda is the publisher, but the actual developer is Arcane.
Okay.
They did a very it's Bethesda Publications. Arcane Studios made it. They made a Heroes of Might and Magic game.
They're not using the engine for Fallout or anything?
No, I'm pretty sure it's not. It's
okay.
So what'd they do? They did a game called Dark Messiah of Might and Magic back on the Source engine, which honestly shares a lot with Dishonored. It was that was the game that I played through Dark Messiah. It was a lot of melee combat like Dishonored, and you could kick people, and you could kick them off ledges. And I totally kicked everyone off ledges if I could.
Nice.
It was the way to play that game. But they were actually originally supposed to be doing that studio was supposed to be doing Half-Life 2 Episode 4. Yeah, they originally had that. They was actually announced that they were working on Half-Life 2 Episode 4. And that, of course, was canceled long ago.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, my problem with both games I played this week, I'm not feeling the first-person mode right now. Like, I like to see my person so I know how they're interacting with the world, and the first person is kind of throwing me off right now. Especially when you grab something in Dishonored and it just kind of floats in front of you. Like, I'm not holding this, it's just floating. Like, it pulled me out of it. And I don't really, I understand the story is that the queen died or whatever, and her daughter is gone, and you're trying to find Emily and reinstate her to be the next regent or whatever. But I don't care about the story, and I just couldn't get into the game. I tried. Yeah. I really tried. I don't know if you would say that it's worth it to keep trying.
I would say if it hasn't grabbed you, just let it be for now.
Okay.
I didn't play it Dishonored originally, and probably until a year and a half after it came out. It was kind of one of those sleeper games.
Yeah.
Gets a lot of praise now, but its story doesn't get a lot of praise.
Okay. People like to do the stealth thing.
It's the stealth. It's the freedom to do things in that game. It sets lots of scenarios and it gives you lots of tools and just lets you go choose your own way that you want to get through this.
Right.
And you can do crazy stuff in that game. Once you get teleportation, and it has the best teleportation I think I've ever had in a game ever.
Okay.
You can get all sorts of crazy places with it, and if you know how to use it, you can move very, very fast.
Well, and the people that I'm seeing on Twitter talking about Dishonored 2, it's all about the stealth mode and getting through without killing anyone, and how different ways they got through the game. Nothing's about the story. You're right. So,
no.
Okay.
These games aren't about story. These are very much about mechanics.
Yeah, then I'm done. I don't care then.
Yeah.
The other one I tried, I rented it from Redbox because I heard that the campaign was so short. It was Titanfall 2. Played it last night. My wife went to bed early, so I intended to just beat it last night. I played it for about 2.5 hours. I think I'm about halfway through the campaign, and I could give a fuck less. The story is literally non-existent. I don't know what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. I'm in this factory making these fake houses and fighting robots and other people. I don't know what's going on. And there's a threadbare story, this Titan. It was like an ambush in this world, and the Titan of the captain was killed, and you get his Titan, and you're trying to get off the island to rendezvous with your general or whatever. And I don't care, man. It's interesting to kind of be the pilot, running around shooting things, and getting in the Titan and doing different things, but I don't care. The story's not there, and it's a decent shooter. It's not fantastic. It's not bad, but people were going ballistic about the story, how good the story was, and I swear to God, I don't know what these people were smoking, or if there's something that comes at the end that makes it all worthwhile, but it is the most generic thing that I've played in a while.
Low expectations?
Maybe. I guess.
Considering the first one really didn't have a story?
That's true. So they wanted something, and they got something, so it's better than the first.
They did.
Yeah. I agree with Colin over at Kind of Funny, who was like, the story's the campaign's yeah, I totally agree. Ugh. So I'm glad I rented it because I only paid $3 to try it out, and I'm waiting. I need something to grab me again because I'm like, when you like read an awesome book and you like so excited to pick the next book and then you can't find something that's as good as the one you read. Like Uncharted 4
all the
was
time.
so good that I cannot find something. The other game that I played this week, which I didn't put on the tracker, is our book club game, Oxenfree, but I won't talk about it till we get to the book club.
Yeah.
I
I hope to put time into that this week. Now that I have a few weeks between prepping for my next Star Wars game.
Yeah.
So, because man, that takes a lot of work. Holy crap.
Yeah, and that's one of the things on your tracker, right?
It is. I just have to put it on. That is. I mean, it's not a video game, but it's a game I'm playing, and whenever you're running the game, so for players, it's great. They just sit down and they play for a couple hours. I think we played for about 2.5, 3 on Wednesday night. But for me, it was basically most nights from Saturday to Tuesday.
Yeah.
Was me. And on my commutes, I'm jotting down notes and things like that, just where I have them. But it was consolidating. I'm like, yep, running one of these games is actually a fair amount of work on planning that the players can immediately destroy when you start the game. But you need to have the plan kind of in place.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, I mean, that took up most of my beginning of the week. And then the end of the week, I've been playing Skyrim. So much Skyrim. I don't know why it's grabbed me again. I still don't. But I am now doing things I haven't done before. I've passed the point where I've played the game before. So
you might get to beating it.
Maybe. I haven't actually progressed the main story farther.
Oh, okay.
I did like the Thieves Guild, the entire Thieves Guild this time. So I'm like super assassin now.
Awesome.
No, I'm super thief now. I haven't done the Dark Brotherhood, which is the assassins.
Mm-hmm.
But I have the thread I could go do that if I wanted to. But it became like the super thief. I'm the head of the Thieves Guild, and I'm now the archmage in the mage college as well. I'm going to be everything. That's the game where you can just become the head of every major organization, it seems like. I don't know. The game offers me, it's doing what I want. I'm just able to just explore a ton, actually, and kind of do whatever I feel like doing when any given night. I just kind of look at my quest log and I'm like, am I going to do this? And I do it.
Right. Well, that's what people like so much about that, the openness to just fuck around.
Yeah, totally have. And I'm feeling like the last time when I played it originally, when the original version came out 5 years ago, I don't think I was approaching it right. I'm approaching it this time the way that I'm playing and like focusing my character a bit more to be, I guess, better in combat, sneak, archery kind of stuff. I'm finding the game easier to play, where last time I was trying to be like a battle mage. That totally doesn't work really that well.
So the class you've chosen this time is easier for you to...
I feel like I'm having an easier time playing the game. Like, I'm not dying nearly as much, and I have a better grasp of the mechanics of combat.
And you're playing on PC, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they gave this special edition to me for free.
You had everything already.
Yep.
Yeah, got it.
And mods came out, so I have a bunch of... Not a bunch, I have like 6 mods.
Yeah.
To improve a few things here and there. Like there's an unofficial community patch that fixes so many little bugs in the game. It's kind of incredible. So that's kind of a must.
And you haven't run into like game-breaking bugs or anything in this version?
I've had one crash.
Okay.
One just hard crash. It just disappeared. And I kind of brought that one on myself. I was doing some weird stuff, and the game really didn't like me doing that. So beyond that, no, I haven't had any other bugs. One time, and I'm almost 50 hours of game time.
Damn. That's pretty impressive considering it came out, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You can tell, like, this has been most nights, and a lot of today. I spent a lot of today playing when I wasn't doing chores or things that had to get done. And then yesterday, with my PS4, my new PS4.
And it's brand new, right? Everything's brand new.
It's totally brand new.
That's awesome. $150, brand new one.
Yep, that makes me funny. And they just probably got the one that I sent them. Were like, "Yep, it's toast. Here's another one."
This is just easy.
18 hours later, we've shipped off the new one.
That's awesome.
But yeah, PS Plus is incredible because it kept all my save files.
That's great.
'Cause I uploaded them to the cloud.
Well, thank God they upgraded the storage so you could actually have all your save files up there.
Yep. So I have all my save files for all my games, so I wasn't really worried there. So I sat down yesterday and asked what game my kids actually wanted to watch me play, and they wanted No Man's Sky.
Really?
So I played like it. So so going back to it, and then I know this about my son more than ever now. He's an explorer. He doesn't care about combat. He doesn't care about fighting. He doesn't care necessarily about the story. He just wants to explore. That's just him in life. Like, he loves hikes. It's not to get someplace to see a specific thing. He always wants to know what's around the next corner. Hey, I saw that. I want to see what's over here.
Right.
Like, he wants to explore the world, and in video games, he just wants to explore. So it doesn't matter that No Man's Sky is repetitive or things like just flying around space and on worlds is incredible to him. He loves it.
Well, that's kind of a lot of what I think originally the game wanted to offer, right? And they added all those other things to it. That's great. That the vision of the game is something that appeals to your son.
Yeah. So stepping back to that game for not playing it for so long, yeah, it's repetitive and has issues, but there's so much potential there. That's the issue. That's actually my biggest probably beef with the game, is that it's a really good base for a game. It just needs more added to it from the gameplay standpoint.
Right.
But it's not. But you can see the threads where they're clearly were working towards adding stuff, but ran out of time or whatever. Who knows? Considering the guy Sean Murray hasn't tweeted in 86 days now.
That long?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's been complete silence out of Hello Games.
Right. Except for that weird thing that happened.
Yeah. For what, 2.5 months? Almost coming up on 3 months actually. So.
Right.
That's not a good sign at all.
No. You need to talk to your fans.
So I mean that's basically what I've been playing this week.
Awesome. Well, the next piece of next section is just our off-topic banter, and it's just we haven't had a chance to actually talk about the election, so we're going to talk a little bit about the election. If you're not interested, that's fine. You can click off. But if you do click off, remember I'm at Prof Plays Games on Twitter, and Anthony is at SummerSpeak. If you like our podcast, please leave us a review wherever you found our podcast at. And if you scroll to the end to find a code, the code was earlier in the first section, so good luck with that. So the election, I went to, that morning I was calling voters in North Carolina. That night I went to basically a party where the volunteers were still calling voters at that point. And we were watching the returns come in, and my wife and this other guy were eternally optimistic that things were still going to go our way because the network wanted to make it a horse race and keep people watching. But when I saw the returns coming from Florida, Florida, the returns weren't strong enough where they needed to be, and Virginia took a long time to go blue, and North Carolina.
That was the one that scared me, Virginia.
Me too.
Once I saw that one, that was the one that kicked me. And then I started looking more at the numbers at Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and I was like, oh, crap, it just didn't add up in my mind. Like, that was like, I'm like, oh, this is not going to go well. Like, she needed stronger numbers from, like, Pennsylvania was like, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh are not coming in strong enough. Like, there's just not enough votes there. This is swinging really fast.
Trump overperformed in the rural counties everywhere, like just everywhere. And more power to him for his message and like the things that stuck to people. There's a line that I read this week that I thought was really insightful that I kind of wish I'd read earlier. Like, excuse me, those of us on our side took him literally but not seriously in some way, where on the other side, the people who voted for him took him seriously but not literally. And he's starting to walk back a lot of his things that he talked about during the campaign. He finally spoke up today.
Oh, of course.
finally spoke up today about the hate crimes that are happening. We're having more hate
Yep.
crimes now than in the wake of 9/11. He told his supporters to stop it. So
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna get a quick education and, hey, you're running the country. People voted for you or not,
you're their president.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of insane. I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's unfortunate that his first couple of tweets were basically like not condemning the violence, just condemning the New York Times, the failing New York Times, which drove a ton of New York Times subscriptions today. When I subscribed today, and I had 2 friends who subscribed as well. Just we need to support a free press in this country right now more than ever. And but the election. So back to the election night, just watching like Wisconsin and Michigan, it's just like 3 blue states just freaking turn, like unreal.
Yep.
And
it basically, I look at that and I'm like, okay, and somewhat it makes sense to me. I actually do understand. Like, I get these places, they actually are out of jobs. They're like, there's a lot of people that just don't have work anymore because, and it's not something that's happened in the last couple years. It's happened over a long time. Like, manufacturing jobs have moved out of the country.
Well, and there was
which isn't shocking. Like,
no.
That's happening. It's cheaper to make stuff in Southeast Asia, China, Mexico. Like, it just is, and these big companies are moving jobs out. Like,
when there was an article I read in the New York Times today about just talking to Ohio voters about why who were Democrats who voted for Trump, or even who are Democrats who voted for Trump, and they're like, Bill Clinton signed NAFTA. NAFTA took away our jobs. We have been pissed about that since the 90s. We're not going to vote for another Clinton. It's like, well, okay.
And I feel sorry for that. I just don't. NAFTA or not,
they were going.
They were going. That's the thing where I feel like, and that's where I feel like voting for Trump. And for this reason, I feel bad saying it. You're not getting those jobs back.
That's right.
Ever. Like, unless we magically find a way to make manufacturing stuff here cheaper, those don't come back ever.
Well, one way is to break the unions, which is a lot of the voters that I read about in this article were actually union members. So you're going to see union busting from the Republicans in the next 4 years for sure. So maybe that will be turning states from union states to right-to-work states.
But does that really make it cheap enough?
No,
where it can compete with manufacturing out of China or these other countries I mentioned that pay pitiful amounts to their workers?
Well, the word enough there is the key word. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll see. And
let's be honest, a lot of these jobs are also been automated as well.
That's right. So you're going to work fixing the machines that are doing the work you used to do, basically. Which was Obama's huge message was, these jobs aren't coming back, we're going to retrain you. And then that didn't work out, or they didn't want to be retrained or whatever. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally a thing. I actually look at it now, and I'm actually in some ways shocked how much Clinton's campaign didn't see this coming.
Oh, absolutely.
She ignored those states so much.
She did. There was a
She was focused on Arizona, North Carolina, Florida, but she ignored that. Like, she went there a couple times, but that was not a main focus of her campaign and her big rallies or anything.
Well, there was one of the 538 guys looked at Dane County, which is in Wisconsin, where it's like Madison, Wisconsin, where the college is. It wasn't as strong for Clinton as it should have been. And it's like, he went back and looked at when they did a rally there. They never did a rally there. And there was when Clinton came out, and there were a lot of things at work in this election against Clinton. The history, she's been around for 30 years. Misogyny, people weren't going to vote for a woman. The FBI thing. So when Clinton came out and blamed the FBI this week, which I think is partially to blame for sure, one of the 538 guys said, "Oh, I didn't realize that the FBI told you to campaign in Ohio and not in Wisconsin." Like, that's pretty low. That's low blow, but it's true.
It's true. I look at it and I'm just like, your campaign misread the state of everything, and the media misread it.
And the pollsters misread it.
Yeah, everyone misread this, but when you look at it now, you're like, well, of course. Like,
Yeah, and there was
because people just chose not to look at it because they're like, well, these states always go blue.
That's right.
Like, why do we have to worry about it? It's like things change.
Yeah.
And everyone was focusing on the minority vote.
Yep.
That seemed to be like most of my news was so much focused on voting in minority votes in Nevada and Florida,
Yep.
North Carolina, things like
Arizona,
that. And I'm like,
yep.
nothing on the media I saw talked about the Midwest at all.
Right. Yep, they were completely ignored, and to maybe the country's detriment, but definitely to the Democrats' detriment. And the thing that's crazy, two things. One, Hillary Clinton's electoral or popular vote lead is going to be larger than I think anyone else's who's lost the electoral college, or it's pretty.
Yeah, it's
high.
going to be about 2 million votes.
Yep.
Some fairly large amount, close to 1.5%, 2%.
That's right.
Of the vote. It's ridiculous how much more.
And she got nearly as many votes as Obama during one of the years, or nearly as much. I'm not sure exactly. But the other thing, I completely forgot. Shoot. But the electoral, so she's gonna win. She's winning the popular vote for sure. Oh, the other thing was her vote margin was her loss margin was pretty slim, and Michigan was 12,000, Wisconsin was 27,000. If you add up the votes in the states where it flipped the election, 0.9% of voters decided the election. Just under 200,000 votes.
Yeah.
Everyone. That means
your vote matters.
Your vote matters, and we knew this in 2000, and people knew this now. The other thing that's interesting is that those states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Bernie trounced Clinton. Bernie trounced her.
They liked Bernie up there quite a bit. He spoke. He was the Democratic version that spoke to the anti-globalization.
That's right.
Which really resonated with those people.
Yep.
A lot. And so
I think some of those voters stayed home. The enthusiasm wasn't there, and it just goes to show that populism that Trump harnessed. I mean, we had it too, and not just we. I voted for Clinton in the primaries. I thought she was a better chance against Trump because the moderate Republicans would vote for her. Turns out the moderate Republicans wouldn't vote for Trump, and they also wouldn't vote for Clinton. So it just
it kind of makes sense there in that regard.
Yeah,
the Republicans hate the Clinton name so much.
Unreal.
So much.
Absolutely. So that's the election.
That's where we sit right now.
Yep.
On the West Coast, where we'll see how much actually changes for us.
Well, for you and me, nothing.
Yeah, that's why I said for us.
Yeah.
Like, I have a feeling that our states are going to be fine. I mean, Trump's walked back repealing Obamacare now, so for me, I'm not going to lose my ability to get health insurance. So
yeah, but for us, our states is a different story, just because of how many minorities we have and what that's going to do to like my students, the people who live in my communities.
What's going to affect them?
Well, right now, kind of the hate crimes are affecting them, but eventually, their families getting ripped apart and things like that. Which is not to say that Obama didn't do that, because Obama has deported more people than any other president. So
yeah, so I mean, deportation is going to be huge.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see what it's going to look like. I mean, he's made some statements post-election.
Yep.
But I'm still questioning logistics of any of this happening and cost and the whole thing. And I'm like, good luck.
The guy from Igor Volsky from, I can't remember where he's from, but it's $10,000 for each immigrant. So 2 to 3 million, that's $20 billion. That's not going to happen. 2, the logistics of that, you would have to move the immigrants to internment camps first. And that's not going to play well. Also, when Trump said that thing today, immediately Paul Ryan said, we're not doing that. We're just going to enforce border security. Okay, so you guys don't even know what you're doing yet.
Well, this is where I was just looking at some stuff. I'm pretty sure there's no love lost between Trump and Ryan.
I agree.
And McConnell. I'm pretty sure Trump hates Ryan and McConnell.
Yeah, well, that's why we're gonna
Like,
yeah.
they don't play, and I'm like, that's why I feel like there's going to be a lot of friction
Right.
between the GOP House and Congress.
Yep.
In Senate against Trump in a lot of ways, because, I mean, in some ways, Trump's policies don't fit with typical GOP either.
Right.
Conservative policies, and especially when it comes to fiscal spending, they don't fit at all.
Right.
So I'm like, there's going to be, get yourself a bowl of popcorn. There's going to be a show to watch sometimes here. Which, in my mind, is like probably why a lot of stuff won't happen like it's planned to, because that party's just not going to agree on what they want to do.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be
crazy.
That interesting, that message he's taking to like drain the swamp, and it was anti-Republican establishment too.
Yeah.
He's just going to bring that populism to bear against them as well, which might hurt them in the midterms. And for Democrats who are thinking like, we got to go toward the 2018 midterms and thinking about that, just want to let you know, in the Senate there are 33 seats up, like always, 33 seats. 23 of them are Democrats, 8 are Republicans, and 2 are independents. Independents caucus with the Democrats, so that's 25 Democratic seats that are basically up. So we actually need to be focusing on the governor's races, because that determines early voting, that determines the proportion or the redistricting for the House. So
yeah.
That's right.
Washington just passed a measure to extend it for redistricting. It has to be planned farther in advance now.
Good.
So give a lot more time for feedback and basically objections to it.
Right.
That totally passed pretty handily. Yeah.
So
you don't get a state that was something in an election.
All right. So that's some good things, and there are lots of things to think about with the election and just who we are as citizens and how we get involved. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to end the podcast here because you are starting to fuzz out. So I will end this episode 59 of Prof and Dev Play Games. I'm Larry. That was Anthony. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we will see you next week. Bye, Anthony.
Bye.